mind is burning red. It's shining like colonies overhead. I'm listening to all the things that were said. Love, hate, and my sorrow, I'm choosing peace instead. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy King of Hearts 002, aka Domo, aka Boru Ko. Got a lot of names because I do a lot of different things. And today I'm here with the album review for you guys, property of OSS, the podcast. And also shout out the other sponsors, Team Red Pro, and of course, No Weekdays for all of your apparel. So to get into it, I actually spent some time with Lupe Fiasco's Samurai album. I really enjoyed it a lot, actually. It was definitely a slow burn on me, like the first listen. I'm not the biggest fan of like backpack rap, but I will say this, I have always been a fan of Lupe and I've enjoyed the majority of his music. You know, even like Tetsuo and Youth, you know what I'm saying, which a lot of people don't really like, but I love that album. I think that was a great album. This album in particular, the first half of it, I wouldn't even say the first half because off the jump, it's 30 minutes long. So it is a quick listen. But I would say like the first two songs, I'm not the biggest fan of, i.e. It's like Samurai and Mumble Rappers, which I'm a little upset about because, of course, if the album's named Samurai, I look at the first song, the first listen, and it says the song is Samurai. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. But what I will absolutely say is that the rest of the songs on this album are good, man. I think a lot of the songs encourage a lot of replays, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be to get to, to get to a point or get to things like that. And that's actually, it can be considered a downside too, because, like the punchlines aren't always in your face. They're not like super apparent, like comparatively to like Eminem. But then again, that's what I did like about the album as opposed to like an Eminem or a Logic album. Eminem, I feel like he uses like shock factor punchlines and just strings together words that rhyme, where I feel like, even when when Lupe's in this chopper style flow or in this fast flow, there's always like layers to it, and there's always something to be grasped. I don't feel like he's just using words that rhyme. But I will say it does take a little bit of listening, I have to replay a couple of songs, but I think that's besides the point. The standouts for me for this album it's a song called Cake. I believe it's number 3, Palaces, and Till Eternity, which is actually the last song on the album. I will say, as a Lupe fan, this, the first 2 songs, weren't a fan of. I'm a super big fan of the rest of the album. And I think it's well done and very, very well executed. If I had to rate this, the overall album, for me, it gets a 7 out of 5, 7.5 out of 10. And this was hard for me, but let me just kind of break down where I was at with it. There are no bad beats on this album, right? So I looked at, I have the listings or the statistics right here, right? Beats, I gave the beats on this album an 8 out of 10. Only reason this could have been higher if there was a little bit more variety. I feel like the beats are classic boom-baps or variations of them. Like they're mildly different, but it's a sound. The album has a sound, which I do love, but I do also appreciate diversity into an album or exploration into an album. And I will say Lupe did not get out of his bag in this album, whether it be beat choices, flows, you're going to get if this is a Lupe album, but beats got an 8, flows got an 8. These flows are impeccable. I say it all the time. As much as I hate on Eminem and Logic, those flows is cold, and Lupe came back to show us why. I got these too, and the flows were outstanding. That's an 8. Punchlines, gotta give them a 5. Like I said, there wasn't anything in the album that made me go, ooh, that was hard. There was a couple of, oh, that's crazy, or oh, that's, ooh, I didn't think of that, or like oohs and ahs, but it wasn't like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? It's not a Lil Wayne, it's not there's no like shock factor punchlines, there's no, I felt like this is where it was lacking the most. And between this, punchlines, I gave a 5 out of 10, and vibes, I gave a 6 out of 10. And when I say vibes, I'm not saying that oh, you know, it sounds bad or the overall vibe of the album is bad. No. What I will say is that the first two songs of the album almost lost me, but if I didn't have to listen to music for you guys, it almost would have lost me. I'm not even gonna lie. Not that they were horrible or horrendous or bad. It just wasn't, something didn't click with me. I guess I wasn't in the mood, and that's why I say the vibes are bad, because that was on the first listen. Second and third listens through, even the fourth and the fifth listens through, because it's only 30 minutes. Those listens were just like, I already knew what was coming. I knew what the vibes were. And I think maybe if I was in a headspace to listen to, some more methodical rap, then it wouldn't have been as bad. But yeah, that's why I gave it a 6 for vibes. There's not really anything on here for the masses, which is, I think, is a typical, I think that's typical of Lupe. He makes music that he likes to make. But I still can't score you up on vibes, unfortunately. But I enjoy it. This is something that I will put on in the background to listen to. This is something that I would play on stream while I'm playing video games. It matches my vibe personally, but I think, I'm a niche type of rap list. So I say all of that to say, I think you should listen to it. If you're a fan of traditional hip hop, if you're a fan of traditional rap, I think it is a great album. And I think this is for you. If you're looking for something new, if you're tired of the same old style of rap, I hear a lot of people complaining everything sounds the same. This doesn't sound like any of that. So this is for you, but I will say go into it with an open mind. But I would recommend this album to somebody looking for something new. It's only 30 minutes long. It's not a huge investment. And after the 30 minutes, you're going to want to listen to it some more. Great job, Lupe. I enjoyed this album. 7.5 out of 10. This right hand of mine is burning red. It's shining like colonies overhead. I'm listening to all the things that were said. Love, hate, and my sorrow. I'm choosing peace instead.